The stars outside the viewport of the alien vessel shimmered like scattered diamonds against the velvet expanse of space. I had no idea how I'd gotten here. One moment, I was stumbling home from a late-night shift at the lab, and the next, I was lying on a cold, metallic slab, surrounded by towering figures with iridescent skin and eyes that glowed like molten gold. They spoke in a language that sounded like a symphony of chimes and whispers, but somehow, I understood them. They called me the Chosen One. I didn't feel chosen. I felt terrified. The leader of these beings was a towering woman. No, not a woman, but something far more regal and otherworldly. Her skin was a deep, shimmering violet, and her hair flowed like liquid silver down her back. She wore a crown that seemed to be made of light itself, and her presence commanded both awe and fear. She introduced herself as Queen Lysandra of the Celestials, ruler of the Andromeda Dominion. Her voice was melodic yet firm, and her gaze pierced through me as though she could see every thought I'd ever had. "You have been selected for a great honor," she said, her voice echoing in my mind. "Your genetic code is unique among your species. It holds the key to the survival of my people." I wanted to protest, to demand answers, but before I could speak, she raised a hand, and I felt a wave of calm wash over me. My fear melted away, replaced by a strange sense of acceptance. I didn't understand what was happening, but I knew I had no choice but to go along with it. That night, Queen Lysandra took me to her private chambers. The room was unlike anything I'd ever seen. The walls seemed to pulse with a soft, bioluminescent glow, and the air was filled with the scent of something sweet and exotic. She explained that her species was facing extinction. Their genetic code had become too homogeneous over millennia, and they needed fresh DNA to ensure their survival. I was to be the donor. The experience was surreal. It wasn't what I expected. There was no cold, clinical procedure. Instead, it felt almost intimate. Lysandra's touch was gentle, her presence calming. She spoke to me in a language I couldn't understand, but her tone was soothing. When it was over, I felt a strange connection to her, as though a part of her had become a part of me. The next morning, I awoke alone. The ship was silent, and for a moment, I thought it had all been a dream. But then the door to the chamber slid open, and Lysandra entered, her expression unreadable. She approached me and placed a hand on my chest. I felt a warmth spread through me, and then she spoke. "The experiment was a success," she said. "But there is more to be done. You are not just a donor human. You are something else." Before I could ask what she meant, the ship lurched violently. Alarms blared, and the walls flickered with red light. Lysandra's eyes narrowed, and she turned to leave, motioning for me to follow. We hurried through the corridors, which were now filled with Celestials rushing in every direction. I had no idea what was happening, but the tension in the air was palpable. We reached the bridge, where a massive holographic display showed a fleet of ships approaching. They were unlike anything I'd ever seen. Sleek, black, and bristling with weapons. Lysandra's expression darkened as she studied the display. "The Voidborn," she muttered. "They've found us." The Voidborn, as she called them, were a rival faction of Celestials who had rejected the idea of genetic diversity. They believed in purity above all else and saw Lysandra's experiments as heresy. They had come to destroy her and her people. The battle was swift and brutal. The Voidborn ships unleashed a barrage of energy weapons, tearing through Lysandra's fleet with terrifying efficiency. Our ship was hit, and the impact sent me sprawling to the floor. When I looked up, Lysandra was standing over me, her eyes filled with determination. "You must survive," she said. "You are the key to our future." Before I could respond, she pressed a small device into my hand. It was a crystalline orb, pulsing with a soft, blue light. "This contains the essence of my people," she explained. "Guard it with your life." Then, with a strength I didn't know she possessed, she lifted me and shoved me into an escape pod. The last thing I saw before the pod launched was Lysandra standing on the bridge, her crown glowing brighter than ever as she faced the void-born fleet. The pod hurtled through space, and I lost consciousness. When I awoke, I was back on Earth, lying in a field under a clear blue sky. The orb was still clutched in my hand, and I could feel its warmth. I had no idea how much time had passed, but I knew one thing for certain. My life would never be the same. Days turned into weeks, and I tried to return to my normal life, but it was impossible. The orb seemed to call to me, its light growing brighter each night. I began to have strange dreams, visions of Lysandra and her people, of battles fought and lost, of a future that depended on me. I didn't understand what it all meant, but I knew I couldn't ignore it. Then, one night, the orb began to glow so brightly that it lit up my entire apartment. I held it in my hands, and suddenly, I felt a surge of energy course through me. My vision blurred, and when it cleared, I was no longer in my apartment. I was standing in a grand hall, surrounded by celestials. At the far end of the hall, seated on a throne of light, was Lysandra. She looked different, older, wiser, but still as regal as ever. Her eyes met mine and she smiled. "You have returned," she said. "I knew you would." I was speechless. How was this possible? How was I here? Lysandra rose from her throne and approached me. She placed a hand on my shoulder, and I felt that same warmth I had felt on her ship. "The experiment was more successful than I anticipated," she explained. "Your DNA not only saved my people but also awakened something within you. You are no longer just a human. You are one of us." I didn't know what to say. I was still trying to process everything. Lysandra continued, "The Voidborn were defeated, but at a great cost. Many of my people were lost, and our dominion is weakened. We need a leader, someone who understands both our kind and yours. Someone who can unite us and guide us into a new era." She stepped back and gestured to the throne. "That leader is you." I stared at her, incredulous. "Me? I'm just a lab technician. I don't know the first thing about leading an alien civilization." Lysandra smiled. "You are more than you think. The essence of my people flows through you. You have their strength, their wisdom, their courage. And you have something they do not, a connection to humanity. That is what we need." I wanted to argue, to tell her she was making a mistake, but deep down, I knew she was right. I could feel it, the power within me, the connection to her people. I didn't know how or why, but I knew I couldn't turn away. With a deep breath, I stepped forward and took my place on the throne. The moment I sat down, a surge of energy coursed through me, and I felt a wave of understanding wash over me. I saw the history of the Celestials, their triumphs and failures, their hopes and fears. I saw the future that lay before us, and I knew what I had to do. Lysandra knelt before me, her head bowed. "All hail the king," she said, her voice filled with reverence. The other Celestials followed suit, their voices rising in unison. "All hail the king." I looked out at them, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't know if I was ready for this, but I knew I had no choice. The fate of two species rested in my hands, and I would do whatever it took to protect them. As the cheers echoed through the hall, I felt a strange sense of peace. I wasn't just a lab technician anymore. I was a king, and I would lead my people into a new dawn.